I'm Paula Fasseas, founder and chair of PAWS Chicago.
I'm Alexis Fasseas. This is my mom.
Back in 1997 when we started PAWS, the stray problem in Chicago was terrible.
I was actually volunteering for high school community service and decided to spend my 25 hours of community service at a local traditional shelter. I started volunteering and was just absolutely shocked at how many animals were being killed. I never would have expected animals in a humane society to be euthanized. Every time a cat sneezed, a worker would charge up to the volunteers and say, "Which cat was it?" And I pretended I didn't know because I knew what would happen. If they knew which cat sneezed, they would mark an E on the card for euthanasia, and the next day the cat would not be there.
So Alexis was bringing home cats, and I'm like, I have no more space. We can't keep taking these cats in. Let's go down there. Let's talk to the shelter. Why are these animals being killed? So I went down and I said, you know, we would like to donate and contribute and help you because we think it's terrible. Our daughter's telling us how half of these animals are being killed. They said, it's not our fault. It's the society's fault. It's the public's fault. We have the dirty job of having to clean it up. So I thought, this really is awful. The public's not being told. People are bringing their pets in, giving them up because maybe their parents died. Children have allergies, and anyone can use these names. It doesn't translate into outcomes. Anyone can call themselves a humane society, a society for prevention of cruelty, an SPCA, an animal rescue, a humane league, an animal refuge or shelter. These are the names of these agencies all around America, not just in Chicago. So people are giving up their pets and they're being dead within 24 hours, sometimes within a few hours. This is, to me, fraud. There has to be a better way. I mean, how do you tell your children, this is how our society manages a problem? We just kill them. Every problem has a solution. What is it? So my husband and I, we heard that they were taking the city of San Francisco no-kill, which was amazing. No-kill shelters had always existed, but small rescue groups. This was a different model. This was taking the whole city no-kill. We met with the director, Richard Avancino, and we were so impressed. Everything he said made sense. Transparency, get the public involved, get them engaged, let them know what's really happening to these animals. Stop hiding it. We had never been involved in animal welfare at all. But my husband and I came back from San Francisco, and I thought, you know, we could do an event and invite all the shelters in Chicago to come, and we could showcase all these great animals. Around the same time, an article came out in the newspaper about how our city pound in Chicago was euthanizing over 90% of the animals. So I went down to a city pound, and I would see literally, and this was during the daytime they were euthanizing, and they were dragging like golden retrievers down, and they were going into the euthanasia room with all their paws, and they were stiff-bodied. They knew where they were going. And I was just horrified. But that's what was going on in every city in America, not just Chicago. All I could think of when I saw those animals was, how could I get my friends to come down here and see these animals? And that's really when the light bulb went off, and I thought I could invite all the stores on Michigan Avenue to put on an event and showcase what great animals are in shelters. So we put this event together. We called it Angels with Tails. And it was amazing because all the media covered it. Hundreds of people came out for that event. Every animal we brought that day was adopted. And that was how PAWS started. The following day after, we had so many phone calls. There was a group of girls who were cat lovers, and they were trapping cats in CHA housing projects. My husband and I, our little business had a store we were going to lease out. And I said to my husband, you know, if we don't sign that lease, can we give it to these girls and let them showcase cats? And he said, sure. That was our first PAWS Adoption Center.
Then we decided we were going to try to find additional homes for dogs. So we went to animal control every Saturday morning and would take 10 to 15 dogs. We made t-shirts that said, "See me to adopt this dog," and we'd walk all around Lincoln Park, along the beachfront.
In addition, we would take dogs every weekend to shopping malls, and we would get them adopted.
It was really hard at that point because we would have to bring the dogs back on Sunday if they weren't adopted. And next weekend, we wouldn't know what had happened to them. They might have been adopted, but more likely they had been euthanized.
As we would adopt out animals and we'd go back to the animal care and control to get more, we'd see litters and litters coming in the door. And we really realized that no matter how many you adopted out, we had to get to the root of the problem. Something had to be done on the birth rate of these animals. We got data from animal care and control, and we found where the strays were coming from. The lower the income, the higher the stray calls. So we decided to put our resources into opening a spay-neuter clinic, and we would locate it close to the wards that had the highest strays. In 2001, we opened the Lurie Family Spay-Neuter Clinic. Anyone in the city of Chicago on Medicaid or public assistance could come in and get their animal fixed, free. Today, we're doing over 18,000 surgeries, of which 70% are free. For every animal that's fixed, it prevents hundreds of animals from being born. How do we get Chicago to no kill? Number one, reduce the animals being born. Second thing, let's get more animals adopted.
In 2007, we opened the adoption center in Lincoln Park. It was one of the first cageless, no-kill adoption centers in the nation. When you walk in the front doors, you see light, airy, wonderful, open, and welcoming environment.
And it kind of dispels the myths of the shelter. People don't want to walk into a place that smells and that's sad. It's a very happy place. 3 years ago, after we opened this state-of-the-art shelter, Oprah paid us a surprise visit. And she came back and she adopted from us. She was so impressed with the shelter that she did a room naming after her dog Sadie that had passed away. And having us on television and talking about no kill, it just educated so many people throughout the country and other countries. In 1997, when we started PAWS Chicago, over 42,000 animals were being killed in our city. 15 years later, the euthanasia rate is down to 17,000. That number is way too high, and we work every day to make sure that gets lowered.
I think the most remarkable thing to me is how my mom took an idea and made it into a reality beyond our wildest dreams. When we started, we just wanted to save a few animals, and what she has built and created is an institution that is really transforming animal welfare. What we've proven is that these no-kill strategies really make a difference, and they work.
Our slogan is on the front of the building, and I think I can speak for every animal that has passed through these doors, that it's great to be alive.